Hello, you wonderful people. So this video is going to be kind of me ranting, more specific a rant against myself. It's kind of a repeat of a video I literally did not too long ago, and that's what kind of makes me more upset with myself. Because a little while back, without going too much into it, there was a video I made basically talking about the fact is that the TV show Dark Matter is actually based on a comic book, and I was super pissed at myself because I basically put it in the wrong podcast, you know, because I put it in Super-Fanta-Fi instead of not to comic book, because at the time I didn't know it was actually based on a comic book. Yeah, like I said, it's not that big of a deal, but you know, it still bothered me on some level because I was like, I should have done a little more research. Well, I recently found out, well, not recently, but a little while back, I ended up finding out, oh yeah, Van Helsing, the TV show that I had recently done for Super-Fanta-Fi, same situation as Dark Matter, is actually based on a comic book too called Helsing. It just made me mad because it was like literally back to back. So it's just reiterating more that I should do heavy research on everything. Make sure it's like, if it's based on a book, that's fine, but like a specific, if it's based on a graphic novel or a comic book, I need to make sure I know about this beforehand, and it upsets me that I didn't realize that. It was published by a company I never really heard of before. I think it's Zenoscope. I don't know if I'm properly pronouncing it or not. If you know, link in the description down below is to like a link to their main website if you want to kind of check out this comic book, because I was looking up on the like web and I couldn't really find too much information about the specific comic book. A little bit I found out about it was from their main website, so I don't even know if it's still ongoing or not. From what I was reading and looking at it, it seemed like it might be. Obviously it's a situation where obviously the comic book is vastly different from, well, not vastly, but from what I can pick up, it seems very different from the TV show, where it's a TV show set in a more modern era. I mean, granted, it's come like 3 years in the future, but still set in a modern era. The comic book seems like more inclined with, like, if you've seen the Van Helsing movie, like along those lines, it seems like it might be taking place in that type of era. I mean, like I said, I could be completely wrong, but from what I've seen, it seems like it's set in that era. Like, you know, the main character's name isn't Vanessa. I forgot what it actually is. Her backstory is differently. The whole storyline that's present in Van Helsing isn't what's there in the comic book. It is kind of a situation where she has inherited the Helsing line, without really spoiling the TV show if you haven't seen it. It kind of eventually leads there. You kind of find out more about it as the season progresses. In particular, the season finale, you really learn a lot about it. I mean, that's what's kind of interesting about this, because I didn't find this out, like information about it being a comic book and stuff, until after, like almost like a week or two after I did it. Me talking about the season finale. Another interesting thing is, it doesn't seem like it's just like the comic book doesn't seem like she's just hunting vampires, because from what I was reading through one of the titles and kind of the description, kind of a little synopsis of it on one of the comics, it seemed like she was going after Frankenstein. Now, I don't know whether that's the Frankenstein, like Victor Frankenstein himself, or is that supposed to be Frankenstein's monster? Because, you know, in some stuff it's like, oh, Frankenstein's monster is also often, you know, labeled as Frankenstein. I mean, for most of my childhood, that's always what I thought until I got older, and it's like, oh, he's always been mislabeled. He's not Frankenstein, he's Frankenstein's monster. So you know, but maybe she's after, you know, Dr. Frankenstein. But so far in the show, it seems like vampires are the main thing. It's kind of the same thing as like the Winona Earp situation, where it's like Winona, it seems like she was hunting monsters in general when it comes to the comic book, but in the TV show, it's more focused on specific like demons / revenants. So I don't know, you know, kind of going with both of them, I don't know, like in either Van Helsing or Winona Earp, will they be going forward and like expanding upon what she goes up against? Like, I mean, each protagonist, will Winona be going up against more variety of monsters, and will the same thing happen with Vanessa and Van Helsing? You know, both like renewed for like second season. So I'm very curious to see how that all plays out. Like I said, it's just a rant against myself because I feel so idiotic for not realizing that. Because a good example I can give you is kind of like how the TV series Haven. It wasn't until like later on, like well after like I'd watched Haven. It was not until like probably around the end of Haven that I ended up finding out that the book that it's based on, the Stephen King book that's based on, The Colorado Kid, is apparently vastly different. Granted, I haven't read about it, but I've heard other people talk about it, and apparently, like, whereas the TV show has that whole supernatural element, none of that is present in The Colorado Kid. Apparently it's a lot more like a murder mystery or something, which isn't a problem. I like murder mysteries, which there's kind of that element in Haven too, but it's like there's not that much crossover. Like the show is kind of its own thing, just like the book is its own thing. So something I had to get my head around too, like something to always keep in mind, is based on is like a very, very loose term. I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised because, you know, talking about comic books and everything, like an example is Legends of Tomorrow. those heroes you see in Legend Tomorrow are characters from the DC universe, but they're based on the versions of them that we've come to know because of the whole Arrowverse. So like White Canary's background, you know, the whole Sarah situation is vastly different from what her character is like in the comic books. And the same thing for the other characters too. Their backstories and who they are, maybe even their personalities aren't exactly the same. So I do have to remember based on is a very loose term, but I would see based on I'm sure a lot of people automatically think, oh, it's like it's 100% like an adaptation of something. It's like at least you would think that at least there's a lot in common, but sometimes it's like based on is a very, very loose term in some regards. Like bringing up, you know, Haven and Colorado Kid is a great example of that. I gotta say, I don't know, this video is just me ranting about that. It's just I can't help it. It irks my nerves that I'm just so stupid about that. So I'm like extra careful anytime there's a TV show coming out. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make sure I know this ahead of time. Like I need to put more time in researching the things that I am going to talk about or want to talk about, just because it's like to kind of keep people more informed, because it's like in case people are curious, like, oh, this is actually based on something, let me see what this original material that this show is based on or inspired by, and find out like, oh, like wow, this is a vastly different story. It's like, so I can't have, without having to worry about spoiling myself, I can be like, oh, look at this because it's its own thing, and also look at this because it's its own thing, you know, that type of situation. So I have to put my foot down. So hopefully this will be the last time this situation happens, but knowing who I am and just how extensive I am with my research and stuff like that, that I'm going to end up slacking on it and not going through like I should. So, but really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy a good day, and goodbye.